Yo, what's good YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a truly shocking video. These are going to be my first impressions on the Pulsar X2F beta version. This is a very early version, nothing is final, but Pulsar sent out a unit of their new fingertip mouse for testing. And this seems like one of the first fingertip mice that actually listens to my principles. Like, I'm not looking for something as weirdly shaped as the G-Wolves HTR, for example. I just wanted a mouse that's practically just a chopped version of a standard shape that I like for fingertip. And this is more or less exactly that. You can see that the sides are not completely flat, but yeah, they're pretty flat-sided. And yeah, I say that so you can see the difference compared to the Zaunkönig M3K, which is like a true box shape, the OG fingertip mouse. And another thing is I find the effective button height to be a bit lower on the M3K. So if you're somebody who's really bought into like the small G-Wolves fingertip mice, the M3K, you'll probably find that the X2F shape just feels like a normal mouse a bit more so. But yeah, I'm really confident in saying that because I kind of have a reputation in the fingertip mouse community for like being a fake fingertip gripper. But I mean, I can clearly fucking pull off a grip on this one very similar to other mice. But yeah, that's probably an indictment on this mouse. Maybe they could be setting up for a mini version in the future that does have a thinner grip width, like just lower height in general, or maybe the shape on this isn't even final and that could be tweaked. For me though, like this is kind of like a fingertip mouse with like training wheels. Like it's just very safe, easy to get into. Not as bizarre as some of the super small mice out there. Another grip I think it could be good for is like the Rocket Jump Ninja MZ1 style, like kind of flat fingertip. This is definitely accommodating for that. And yeah, I just like the sides and just the feeling of this more than most other fingertip mice. But the elephant in the room is going to be the weight of this mouse. This early version, again, nothing final, like ground yourself if you're prone to freaking out about weight numbers. This comes in at 42 grams. And I understand that's horrifying. That's more than like a ULX. That's more than the Pulsar Crazy Light. But they did say on Twitter that they're able to get this version down to as low as 25 grams. So I believe they just did that for like structural reasons. Perhaps they even just wanted to test how it is with like a very like dense center feeling with a small fingertip mouse. But yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people who's like, 40 grams on a fingertip mouse, maybe that's the meta. Like, no, I think they should go lower, compete with some of the lowest. I mean, the M3K is what, 22 grams. The HTR is 30. G-Wolves HTX Mini's 28. Optimum Text Mouse, I don't know what that weighs in at. Pretty clear that regardless of what the retail units eventually weigh in at, that they were going for a solid structure and just full mouse functionality, as opposed to the absolute lightest weight possible. But if they get this sub 30 to the point it makes sense to like cut off some size of the mouse and optimize it for fingertip grip, then I think this could be a really like unique offering, because nobody's ever done a fingertip mouse with such a simple shape concept. It's been overcomplicated to death in my opinion. So yeah, even in this state, the side buttons definitely make it the most accessible for Fortnite. That's something I haven't even mentioned, like the side button design. Finally, a fingertip mouse that does it right. You can see how it compares to just the standard X2. It's not like they made them too thin. They obviously place them pretty high up because they don't want people's thumbs to risk like pressing them accidentally. But yeah, this is not a mouse where, at least me, I'm naturally inclined to like grip it towards the absolute top. So I find the positioning to be pretty solid, much more usable than something like the G-Wolves HTR side buttons, which people were actually defending. They're like, you're just gripping the mouse wrong. That's why you can't differentiate between the side buttons while you're using them. But yeah, moving beyond the side buttons, which definitely, even in this current state, clear the very low bar for fingertip grip mouse side buttons, I want to introduce you to the most interesting feature I found on this mouse, which is called multi-level aiming. Because this, what my fingers are on right now, this is not a part of the clicks, but there's also no flex. Like, you can absolutely place your fingers here and you can have some very interesting multi-level grip styles. Or if you just want a lower button height feeling, I mean, I don't know, like bind your shoot key to something on your keyboard and you will be able to pull this off. Or like, I don't know, the possibilities are limitless. So I hope they keep this. Maybe they could even like put it on a little lever. That could be interesting. Like I said, the structure of this mouse is very solid. I'm not going to try to break it. But for a carbon composite mouse, it definitely has a less plasticky feel than something like the ULX Comp, for example. But yeah, now onto the clicks. These are using a Huano blue shell pink dot, which is shocking for Pulsar. I think the only time they did that was for the X2 collab with me. And they clearly put some effort into like the click structure and implementation, because there's like minimal wobble. There's a very like tight, crisp click feeling. None of like just the cheap plasticky click feeling that people associate with Pulsar, but I will say for a fingertip grip mouse, they're a bit too stiff. You can see it takes a good amount of pressure for the click to actually like press in. That is one of the easiest things for them to tweak as the prototypes on this progress, so I'm not really worried about that. But yeah, on this first version, it's definitely not as light as you would like a fingertip grip mouse's clicks to be. Honestly, if they haven't already, they should just like fucking test some M3Ks and be like, oh yeah, that's how light the clicks need to be on a fingertip grip mouse. Yeah, I even find the Pulsar opticals on the Crazy Light to be an appropriate amount of lightness for such a light mouse. But yeah, like I said, easily fixable. And yeah, beyond that, I'm not really sure what else there is to say about this beta version. Obviously, if you have any questions about the mouse, feel free to leave them below in the comments. And yeah, I'm not going to speak too much about the sensor implementation, since that or the firmware are not finalized. So I have been experiencing some bugs, but it's nothing to expect on the retail unit, just like some slight disconnects. And my polling isn't even stable at 1,000, but that will get ironed out before this gets into customer hands. There is a program. They're giving out 500 beta samples, so if you are interested in testing, if you have some like fingertip mouse experience, I guess, I'd recommend filling that out. But yeah, my biggest piece of feedback would definitely be to focus on significantly reducing the weight. Like the quality's great on this thing. It's good to a fault. The quality was focused on too much, if that's even possible. But it's honestly good to have a very solid prototype and then work from there, as opposed to like releasing something flimsy and then making it more solid. But yeah, that's all. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Very interesting product, side buttons, coding, quality, all of that's solid. Some things just need to be tweaked. Peace out.